So as Leah mentioned, the name of our project is Ready, Set, Flow. So without any further conversation, let's get into why we chose this. And yeah, so we are from India, um, and one of the largest stereotypes in our country today revolves around the topic of menstruation. Despite the fact that this is such a basic body process that every single female in the world goes through, here girls still feel the need to keep it on the low and not talk about it openly. Now, in our country, there are some girls who are fortunate enough to receive an education about it and some who aren't. However, even the ones who know about this often find themselves in situations where they have to deal with the public shame of period stains. But more importantly, what about the ones who don't even have the adequate amount of knowledge to know what those stains are and why they're getting them? So we did some research, and according to some studies conducted, we found that the number of girls in India who drop out of school annually because of the lack of hygiene management facilities, availability of products, and awareness is 23 million. Now, just let that sink in. 23 million is a huge number. And even the girls who don't drop out, other than these 23 million, they mostly miss up to 4 days, 4 to 5 days of school a month, basically as long as their periods last. Now, another stat here, I'm just going to throw it in, is 70% of the menstruating mothers in our country also find menstruation dirty. I think this is a very clear indication of how much of a taboo this is, because women going through it themselves don't like it, and they think it's dirty. So what education would they be giving their own daughters? That is why this is such a need, especially in our country. So I I don't think this is a very well-known fact, but in some homes in India, girls who are on their period are treated differently for that period of time. So things like they aren't allowed to enter religious places of worship, they aren't allowed to enter the kitchen. In some houses, they are made to sleep on the floor, made to stay in a different room. Now, these things, like these practices, they started centuries ago. And the thought behind it at that time was that these 4 to 5 days are for rest, because women used to do all the household work. So these 4 to 5 days were for them to rest. So that's why don't enter the kitchen, don't do any of the other work. But even like so many years later, even though our society has progressed, there are a lot of people whose thinking has still not changed. And now it's become this bad thing and they're treated badly. So that is something that we really want to change, because a part of embracing who we are and being us is that we have always, Niyati and I, we have always believed in standing up for what we feel is right. We are very, very passionate about empowering women and making everyone feel comfortable in their own skin. We also give great, great importance to helping others around us. So naturally, when we witness these helpless teenagers suffer through, like, because suffer due to such a grave misconception on a daily basis, we couldn't help but want to do something about it. Now, I'm going to ask Niti to go through how we plan to go about this project.
So, before I start about how, I just wanted to add something to what Sibani said. Our main thing has always been to stand up for what we think is right and what we believe is the right thing to do. And very recently, in the morning today, I read this quote which said, "If you don't stand up for anything, you will fall for anything." And it's so important to one is just knowing that this is not the right thing to do and not agreeing with it, and the second thing is to make a difference and to do something about it, which is why out of all the topics that came to our mind, this is what really stuck and we wanted to work on. So now the concept has been introduced, the whole question revolves around exactly what it is that we can do to make a difference in this field, how we can help our target audience, and what are the ways that we can use to spread that awareness and the change that we want to make, and the how we want to break that stigma, how it is that we can get around doing all this. So what we're doing as part of the first phase, which is what we're focusing on right now, we want to start off slow and then reach a big picture. We don't want to straight away go for a bigger aim. So, as the first phase, what we are doing is we are targeting the backward section of the society who doesn't have the privilege to know enough about this topic, or gain the necessary resources required to tackle it either. So we will be going into the government schools in the country, mainly in the city of Delhi to start with, which is where we live. And we will meet both the boys and the girls who are mostly in their teenage years, because we feel like that is a very crucial age group when it comes to menstruation, of course. And especially keeping the girls in mind, why we chose this section of the society was because, especially when you're just when you're having your first period, when you're just experiencing that transformation, we usually go to our mothers or some female adult to seek help. We don't know about it ourselves, but we always have that adult to go to seek help. But for these people, their mothers are probably as clueless as they are. They don't have that someone to go to get advice from. So we think it's very important to start off here. And what we aim to do is have sessions with both the genders, but separately, so that we can cover slightly different topics, somewhat similar, but slightly different topics with both the groups. So, with the girls, what we aim to do is teach them about what menstruation is. That's that's something they don't know about, and without that, you don't know how to tackle it. You don't know what's going on. You need to know what it is. So the main thing is to not just tell them, but to also understand what it is that they know. It has to be an interactive session so we can gauge how much they know, what are the misconceptions that we need to clarify. We need to teach them what really happens with our body, what are the changes that are going on, why is it okay for it to happen, and not feel like, what is this weird thing happening with me? It's not weird, it's very normal, it happens to everyone. We want to tell them what they should be doing, what they should not be doing when they're on your period. And just the main aim is to teach them to be comfortable in your own skin, to just be okay with it. It's something different, but it's normal. It's totally normal. And the same thing we want to do with the boys. We want them to know that even if it's something that they're not physically experiencing, they're still experiencing it through their mothers, their sisters, and their friends. And it's very important that they be there for them and support them through this. We want them to know this is not something you just shy away from. It's something you speak about more in the open. You don't whisper about it behind closed doors, or you don't ignore it to save someone from the embarrassment. There is no embarrassment. It's completely okay. And this is something that they need to be there for the girls in their life as well. And we think a big part of breaking the stigma isn't about just talking about it more openly and making more of the girls aware about it. A very big part of breaking this stereotype is the involvement of males in this field. It's extremely important for the young men to take responsibility and help the females when they're going through any sort of discomfort. Like Sibani said, if you're not allowed to enter the kitchen, it's not because it's a punishment, it's because you need rest. So it's the males need to know that, and they need to be there to support you through it, so you also feel comfortable with it. So all of this is there in the awareness sessions that we aim to have with both the groups. Along with this, there are also topics that we won't have the expertise to cover. Supposing you have things like the do's and don'ts, what to eat, what not to eat. How do you stay hygienic throughout the whole thing? What to look out for in terms of pain, cramps, and everything that's very normal. Your mood swings, or your cravings, very normal things. But for that, we will need professional help. So we will be getting in medical professionals, and again, to promote the whole thing about it not being only a female only topic, we will be aiming to get both female doctors as well as male doctors to talk about this, so that when boys also see the male doctors talking about it so openly and having so much knowledge about it, they will know there is nothing wrong in it. In fact, it's only good. It makes you stronger, right? So the whole thing is about getting both male and female doctors and teaching them, educating them about everything related to this topic, including the disorders. One of the most common disorders related to menstruation and very common in India is the polycystic ovary syndrome. Yeah. So I think when I was reading about it, I read 1 in every 5 girls in India have PCOS. And I personally also do. So I know what it is to go through it. I didn't know everything about it. I was totally unaware of it. And I, I fortunately, I do have the privilege that I have the resources to find out about it. There are these people, if I didn't know about it, I don't know how much these people know about it or if they even know that disorders related to this even exist, right? So, especially in my case, I know I don't have any obvious symptoms also. So it becomes even more tougher to diagnose it. So this is something I have been through personally. So I would also want them to know about. So, for all of this, we will be requiring doctors and we will get professional advice for that. And thirdly, as part of the interactive sessions, we have our awareness sessions, we have medical help coming in, and we have regular check ins. Now, this is also a part of the sustainability goal of our project. What we aim to do is go at least once in 3 months, just go and check in on them, check in on the resources that we've provided, if there is any lack or shortage of the stock, if the vending machine is being maintained properly, if it's broken or something, if everything is going fine. And the most important part, to just go and talk to the students and ask them if they're okay, if they're feeling any kind of discomfort, if they've experienced any, say, horrifying situations, if there's anything they want to talk to us about, because it's very important that they feel that we are approachable and we create that safe environment for them to be able to speak up about anything. And if they don't have the resources and that opportunity to maybe go seek a doctor for some help, then we should be there to help them through that, get some help for them and help them solve their problems. So that would be a part of the regular check ins. Apart from that, the installation of vending machines and equipment handling guidance is basically what we aim to do is we want to give them sanitary napkins. We also want to give them menstrual cups. And the third thing that we want to do is install at least one sanitary napkin vending machine in each school for the girls in the washrooms or anywhere where if there is an emergency situation or they need something urgently, it's not a big worry. It's there for you. You all you have to do is you just have to put in one coin and you have to get it. It's something we have in our colleges as well. It's something I saw getting installed in my college in my first year, and that's where we picked up the idea from as well. So we want to now introduce this in the government schools as well and provide them also with these resources. So we will also, in one of the sessions, the awareness sessions that we have, we will also be teaching them how to use that machine, how to take proper care of it, not, just break the glass and just take out one pad. You have to be responsible. If you have to put in one coin, you have to do that. So just teach them the basics of how to use everything. Now, if you see the images in this slide, these are actually images of a very similar project that we have already done. In September 2019, we went to a senior secondary school. So we went and had a session with the girls of classes 9 to 12, where we had help from a doctor and she taught them about the kind of the nutrition that they should be having in their food and what to do, what not to do, how to take care of your clothes if they're staining. All of that happened in this session. We also installed a vending machine, which I think you can see in the top picture, the thing with the ribbon. So we installed that vending machine. We taught them how to do it, how to take one out and how to use it properly, how the whole thing functions. And I think through this project, what we found out was that the root cause is just the lack of resources that these people have. It's not that they don't want to do it, because once we had this session, after that, around 2 to 3 girls came to me and said, we want to join this NGO. We want to help others also know about this. We didn't know anything. And it was so heartwarming to know that, you know, they're actually enthusiastic about it. They're not like, school students just taking this as a session, getting bored, snoozing off in the middle, and then going because they had to do it. They were actually very interested in it. They wanted to do it. Unlike us, I know when we have like sessions in our schools, we go, we sit in the auditorium, we sleep, and we come out sometimes. But they were really interested in this. So it's all about just the fact that they don't have the opportunities, and that's what we want to provide them with. Svani, you can go to the next slide.
Okay, so now let's talk about our goals. So we have two types of goals here. Like for any project to be successful, you have to set goals in the beginning, right? So we have short-term goals and long-term goals. So for short-term goals, we have research and funding. So in terms of research, in the short run, we want to do enough research and reading, and just finding enough material to ensure that we ourselves have not only the sufficient amount but also the correct information so that we can pass it on to others. We don't want to say anything that's incorrect or give wrong knowledge. So that is something very important. We are going to draw up a sort of plan for which would include, which schools to target, when to target them, who are the doctors who would help us, and how many resources would be required, depending on the size of the school. So, like Niyati mentioned, we're going to start in Delhi. So, in Delhi alone, there are around 2,000 government schools. So I think getting to that, like first building out a plan for at least 100 of them. We want to start small so that we ensure that we can actually do it, rather than getting ahead of ourselves. So yeah, that's the first thing. Then the second one is funding. Now, I think you guys must have realized that this project does not require too much funding, because we are going to be the ones who hold those awareness sessions. The doctors who will come and speak for us till now have done it voluntarily, and I'm sure that we can get more of them to do it in the future. There are enough female doctors in our city who are willing to do this. And so the only thing that we actually really need the money for would be those vending machines and those products that we want to give to students. Now, there are several NGOs in our city who support these initiatives, and they will help us with them. We've worked with a few of them on previous projects, so we are pretty confident that we would be able to collaborate with them as well. We won't have too much of an issue. Additionally, we also have contacted a few individual investors who are willing to invest, because it's a very small amount, like a small amount for such a big change. So that really helps. Now, for our long-term goals, so one of the most important goals for us is, sustainability. So, like like we said, so there are two ways in which we're going to ensure sustainability. The first thing is, like Niyati mentioned, check in with these schools once in every 3 months. This would be to check the condition of the product, to make sure everything is running smoothly, the machines we installed aren't broken, and all of that. Then the second one is the introduction of menstrual cups. Now, this is something that even people in like very highly educated people are just getting to know about. I think it's a relatively new concept. So if I myself learned about it last year, so if I'm learning about it last year, I'm just assuming that a lot of people in these schools would not have heard of it before. So using menstrual cups is so environment friendly. Like, as we all know, pads are used and throw away. It creates a lot of waste. They're not eco-friendly at all. One menstrual cup can last a person up to 10 years. It's a one-time purchase. That means our funding requirements go down greatly. Secondly, this would be our way of also doing our part for the environment, because we would be encouraging people to use sustainable products over use and throw one-time use things. So yeah, these are the two ways that we want to ensure sustainability of our project. Um, and then the last is breaking stigmas. Now, I think we've spoken a lot about this topic and how it's such a stigma and why we don't want it to be one. So basically, this project is going to enable us to put together our core values of compassion, love, treating everyone as equals, while also performing acts of selflessness and being the reason for someone else's happiness or, so to say, comfort in this case. So we want to use our values of being strong, independent, and capable of making a difference while we use our talent of public speaking to do something good for the society. So yeah, this is our project, and I just want to end with this quote that we had found while doing our research. And I think it's very apt considering we started this during our YLP program. It's Leaders Lead Period by Sylvia Young. So yeah, thank you so much.
Savani, can you just go back to the previous slide? Okay, yeah, this is not my best picture, but this is a picture of me with the doctor, and that is the vending machine, what it would look like. So on the side, you just put one coin, and then from the top in that little corner, you can see how many pads are left and when do you need to restock it. So when we were installing this, we got enough knowledge about how to use it and the functioning of it and what is needed. So we will be looking to explore more here as well. And this is basically the basic of the vending machine.